Good morning, it's time for a cup of joe.
I want me a cup of joe, your first sip in the morning.
Happy Friendly Friday, everyone. Let's read some comments, shall we? The girls joined me for my last Friendly Friday video, and that seems to be that all anyone is talking about. You people didn't listen to a word I said, did you? Darcy Isabella even had the gall to say, "I'm sorry, I have no idea what you talked about in this video, just watching the adorableness of your girls." Can you believe it? Just kidding. That is perfectly understandable because they are adorable, and I forgot that I've been making videos for so long. They've actually been in some videos like a way long time ago, and I forgot, subscribers keep coming and they don't necessarily watch all my videos from a million moons ago. So I'm glad that you guys were finally able to meet my daughters. I showed them all of your hellos and highs and all that. We went through the comments, so that was fun. To do the Kentucky Brown says, "Love the name Cordelia. Is it from Anne of Green Gables?" Well, if you ask Erin, yes, it is from Anne of Green Gables. She grew up on the Anne of Green Gables movies and books and loves them. If you ask me, it's from Shakespeare because that's what I grew up loving. So depends on who you ask, but yeah, I think actually technically Erin did come up with the idea for Cordelia for a name. So I guess if you think about it that way, it is technically from Anne of Green Gables. All right. We talked about Facebook again. Karen brought up Facebook and what to do about it. Do you bring it back if you want to say things? You want to not even just say things, just share things with people, right? I was saying I have the same kind of struggles. I have videos I watch or articles I read that I want to share out, but because I got rid of my Facebook, I can't really do that. So, yeah. And Michelle Tuamello says, "The most key point you just made is you don't want to hear anything or see anything, but you want to be heard and seen. That might need to be an adjustment in your thought process." So I did say that, however, I was saying it to kind of try to be like tongue-in-cheek, because I realized as I was talking that that's kind of what I was saying, which kind of sounds very narcissistic and absurd. But the real thing was I wasn't necessarily trying to say anything. I just wanted to share things that other people were saying, basically. And it's not, sometimes when I talk about not wanting to see everything people are saying on Facebook and stuff like that, people think I'm trying to like put my head in the sand or shut out opposing ideas or other thoughts different than my own. That's not the case. I love well thought out thoughts that I see from other people, even if they're different from mine. The difference is I don't want to see all the mundane things or the petty things or just the inappropriate, just any of the that people seem to put out on social media. If there was some way that I could just filter down to the interesting things, I'd be for hearing all the opposing thoughts. It's just that when I go through my Facebook or whatever social media, I don't want to see a bunch of crap about what you ate today, or like, I don't know. I just don't want to see the dumb stuff, I guess, what I consider that to be. So yeah, I did say that, but I was attempting to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek there. Karen, in the end, says, "I was so torn. I ended up voting no on bringing back Facebook because I feel like it's a void I get sucked into, and it would be getting in the way of me trying to be more intentional. I think our time can be spent better." Well said, Karen. I think I'm going to join you for now, at least, not bringing back my Facebook. I don't know. If I feel a strong pull to or something like that, maybe I will, but I just don't think I need to right now, I guess. And I hear rumors that YouTube is starting to make their page like more of like a social network thing where you can also not only follow your creators' videos and get those in your subscription, but you can also follow the things they post and stuff like that. Because right now, technically, I actually can and do sometimes post things on my YouTube page that aren't videos. I can post links to other articles and stuff, but you don't get those in your subscription feed. So you actually have to go to my channel to see those, and I doubt you often do that now, do ya? All right. Melody Bachman says, "I've made it a habit to only watch YouTube or any other media until after my girls are asleep. As a stay-at-home mom," where we go, "I find myself questioning more and more how I use my time, and I often worry that my girls will see me being glued to a screen." I feel the exact same way. I'm used to, I think I know I made a video about it before, how as soon as I came home from work, I would just shut off my phone, put it in a cupboard so I could be fully present with my family. But I have gotten really far away from that. And part of the reason is YouTube, trying to keep up with things on YouTube, and I'm trying to get away from that right now. So that actually I still want to bring back, but the main thing that I struggle with is I'm technically by contract supposed to stay available via phone and or email all times of the day. That's because as an instructor going to different companies and stuff like that, at any moment if someone gets sick or a job changes, whatever it may be, they may need to get a hold of me after hours to say, hey, you're teaching something different tomorrow, or can you do this tomorrow, or whatever it is. We need you to drive out here, whatever the case may be. So I do technically have to keep on my phone at least somewhat. So I know I just talked about getting the YouTube Creator app, and I was so excited, except now I've replaced checking my subscriptions of new videos with checking your guys' comments, which is not something I need to do all the time. I don't need to see every comment as it comes in. That's just, so yeah, I found myself doing the same things. I'm like with my kids, and then I'm like, so I might get rid of the YouTube Creator app right after I got it, but I'm trying to discipline myself first, and see if that's something I need to do or not. But yeah, being with the kids, it's like, let's be present. Let's be actually fully all the way present. All right. Sink or swim. I was talking about this sweatshirt, how I bought it and it's white, and I was planning to dye it brown, though I don't know. I'm a big procrastinator, so I don't know when I'm ever going to get around to it. Sink or swim says, I vote for keeping the sweatshirt the color it is right now. Why spend extra money on dye when you could put it to better use? Well, I think I will be keeping it white for now, if not for any other reason than laziness. But white is like the worst. Like, I don't know if you can see this, but Damien was eating pizza and he got the pizza sauce like all over me. And if I was wearing my brown, I'd be like, whatever, it's gonna blend right in. It's gonna be fine. That was a huge advantage to wearing brown. Everything just blended right on in, but not with white. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll keep it white for now, because why not, right? I don't have to be super strict about always wearing brown. It's still kind of a more, muted, earthy, or whatever tone. So I think you're right, sink or swim. For now, I will sink. Perhaps later I shall swim. The 22726 says we were talking about metaphors, and I was talking about my metaphor of being a minimalist in a cave. But I also mentioned my metaphor that I tried to make happen with education as a ship, and then we got to talking, and maybe that there's something to that. And the 22726 says, I remember watching another minimalist YouTuber whose only possessions were ocean liner memorabilia, and another who actually lived in her own sailing boat. Perhaps there is something about minimalism and sailing. And I think there absolutely is, because I've always loved ships, right? And I've loved minimalism for a long time now. There's got to be a connection. And I was thinking about it even more, and I thought, you know what, that's perfect, because when you're on a ship, you only take what's necessary, right? You don't bring all this extra stuff. So a lot of people maybe are on these huge like ocean liner cruises. They've got all this stuff, but they can't get anywhere very fast, right? And so you could want to think, what do I need to bring with me on the ship? And the thing I really like about that metaphor is that then you also have to think it's going to depend on where I'm going, where am I headed? So if I'm headed towards God and trying to do God's plan for me, what is that plan? What does that look like? Where am I trying to go here? And then saying, what do I need on the ship to take with me? So we're all kind of going in different places, but we want to make sure we've only got the stuff that we really need on the ship with us. So yeah, I think you're right, the 22726. There really is something about sailing, being on ships, and being a minimalist. Joa Morosini, I have no idea. J-Dog here says, how do you tell apart the bits of the Bible that are supposed to be read literally from those that are subject to interpretation? It seems to me that people choose to read it this way or that way based on what they learn in their social circles and based on what they like best, none of which are reliable paths to finding the truth. I think you bring up a great point here. I am not a church scholar. I am not a Bible scholar by any means. That is Aaron's avenue of study. So I can only say my sort of understanding of it. And as a Catholic, we believe something a lot different than Protestants. So Protestants, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm putting any words in your mouth. I know Protestant denominations are all different. But I think in general, one thing that Protestants share in common is they tend to be more solo scriptura. So they think that kind of all of the real, I don't know how to word this, don't kill me if I'm making this up, but kind of all of the specific truths of God and Christ and heaven and I don't know, all just the God stuff comes only from the Bible. Whereas as Catholics, we believe in tradition with a capital T. We believe that God has revealed things to the church, to his people, in ways other than the Bible. So we believe that God has a direct connection with the Pope, and the Pope speaks for God. Not that people think that we believe that everything the Pope says is 100% true, fact, irrefutable. That's not the case. There's much more nuance to it than that, but we do believe that the Pope has a direct connection with God. We also believe, if you think about it, where did the Bible come from? It came from, like if you look at St. Paul, the writings of St. Paul, which are part of the Bible. Well, where did that come from? St. Paul didn't have a Bible to go from. He had inspiration from God. He had tradition given to him by the apostles, right? So we have these outside sources. So you're right, it is tricky, but I think the main point I was trying to make in the video that you're commenting on here is that especially in the New Testament is more first-hand accounts, right? Especially the gospel accounts there. We've got first-hand accounts of what's going on, so that's going to be taken much more literally. Whereas when you get back, the further back, the older the writings get, the more you have writers who are speaking in a certain style, right? Saying that, I don't know, Noah lived to be 900 years old or something like that. Some people do believe that. The church doesn't teach either way, that you have to believe that that's literally true or that you don't. But that's more of a writing style where they would talk about these great figures. So it is different. I don't know. There's no specific way to go about it, but that's what I don't kind of understand with that more Protestant viewpoint of I can interpret the Bible myself. Because if you don't have the church or tradition with a capital T to help guide you, I'm not sure how you can just decipher that, or I don't know. So anyone else who's more knowledgeable about this stuff, I'll leave comments in the below, but that's, I don't know, did I kind of answer your question satisfactorily? Probably not, but hey, I tried. Robin Liddick says, I use a table for a desk, a project surface, and for eating. So I have a cloth over it while eating, or if I'm being lazy, a placemat. It's to keep the food off the table and also to set the mood of the space so that I don't work and eat at the same time. Oh my gosh, Robin, you've done it. You found the reason for a tablecloth or for a placemat. And for me, if I was you, I'd be placematting it all the time. That's a great point. It keeps the food off the table, which is not something I'm generally concerned with, but I like the idea of setting the mood for the space. If you use a table for everything that you do, work, play, eating, you don't necessarily want to just be doing it all in once, kind of jumbling it all together. It's nice to set aside your computer, set aside your papers and your books, put a little placemat down, get your food. So, okay, Robin, I'm feeling ya. I can see your reason. Majella Maxwell says, I have put all of our kids in one bedroom while I paint the others, and I have noticed how much more they all play together now naturally. I'm taking this as a sign that we can look for a smaller house too. Happy days. Yes, isn't it awesome when you put the kids in a small space and take away all of the gadgets and technology and complex toys and things? You'll be amazed by what they really will do for play, what they will play with. My girls just got done with a phase of making paper dolls. They would just draw dolls, color them, cut them out, and play with them. I would come home from work and there were paper dolls everywhere, and they had so much fun doing it. So gosh, kids' imagination and their ability to play with each other is so awesome. So yes, thank you for sharing that with us, Majella. David Strachan says Sigur Rós is good. So I was talking about the musicians I like. And one of the bands on there is Sigur Rós. I'm probably saying that way wrong, but I do love them. And David says, check out the whole genre of post-rock. I'm like, okay, I don't know what post-rock is, but it sounds cool. And then he says, Explosion in the Skies, The Earth is Not a Cold Dead Place is a great album to start with. Okay, and then I stopped in my tracks. Explosion in the Sky. I knew I'd heard that band before, and there is a song that I had been searching for so long, months and months. I'd heard it once. I don't know if it was on a computer that I deleted the stuff or what happened, but there was just this one song, and you just said Explosion in the Sky, and I was like, boom, explosion in my mind. Your Hand in Mine was the song. It's an instrumental. That's why I could never look it up, because it has no lyrics. So I knew it had the word hand. I just knew it had the word hand, and you can't just search for a hand song and expect something good to come up. So Your Hand in Mine is the song, so I added it to my playlist. So David, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Amy Pola says, I don't think preparation is about living in fear. We go inside our houses and we lock the door, and then we go about whatever and go to bed. Locking the door is just a simple habit, a simple preparation that we use to not live in fear. Having a couple extra blankets is reasonable. Not all needs are in need all the time. I really like that phrase. Not all needs are in need all the time. For me, being a Mormon, preparedness is a commandment, because the more we are able to take care of ourselves, the more we can take care of others. I like that concept. If you can take care of yourself, you can take care of others. Amy, I had no idea that was, not that I know anything about Mormonism really, but that's awesome. That's very interesting to me, that it's a commandment to be prepared. I want to look that up. Or you tell me more about kind of what that means. Like, is there specifics? Be prepared for what? That's very interesting to me. And for the record, I love Mormonism. I love the thing I love about Mormonism is Mormons that I've encountered, not really in real life, I don't think I've really met many, but the ones I've seen online and the ones I know of, they have such a cool group family dynamic. They really make family the central point of a lot of things, at least in my experience of what I've seen and read online. So that's interesting that that's a commandment, Amy. So tell me more about that. Yes. Mandy R says, it's not about letting go of things. Rather, it's about letting go of attachment. Ooh, good point. Not just to things, but more importantly to ideals and wants. So that means letting go of the idea I have of the ideal minimalist lifestyle. Agonizing over what I could or couldn't get rid of wasn't much different from my thoughtless accumulation of things before minimalism. Each was myself picturing the future as better and rejecting the present. I think peace can only be found by accepting things as they are right now in their inherently imperfect state. And we're just going to leave it in that beautiful, beautiful comment, because there's nothing I can add to that. That is so wonderfully stated. Thank you so much for that, Mandy. Thank you to all of my subscribers, all of my commenters, and to especially all of my patrons. Enjoy the rest of your wonderful day. Until next time, this has been your Cup of Joe.
I want to be a cup of Joe. Your first sip in the morning. You get your going ritual and walk your soul from within.
Love you, bye.